welcome everybody. This is a nice little group we have here. Some of you for the first time, some of you are old friends, but whoever you are, we are so grateful to have you here for the Just Keep Jamming episode number 4. Yeah, the intention of this podcast in general is just to stay connected, to help others feel like they're not alone in this journey of life, and for me to just share my story and relate with others. If they can relate with me, we can bring them up, we can talk together, because I've been going through this incredible soul-searching odyssey the past couple months, and I want to keep this trajectory of self-care and learning about myself. I want to keep it going. I spent enough damn money on therapy. I'm not letting that shit go to waste. We are continuing this. I'm gonna spread my knowledge, but also learn from each other along the way. First of all, let's have the wine of the week. I'm just kidding. No wine of the week this week. Damn it. I don't do that anymore. But can we just say hi to Jason real quick? Let's unmute him and just say what's up. I want to catch up with him. I legit have not spoken to him in so long, on the phone. Hi.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? How's it going?
Cool.
Hey, Jason.
What?
Hi.
I know, it's like a celebrity. I feel like I'm like, it's Jason. But tell me what's been up. What are you doing right now? Where are you?
Right now, I'm sitting on the couch, just chilling, Yeah, I got the iPad going, drinking a kombucha. I got my 2 dogs over here. They're in their cages, cruising, and then Elimo's over there just doing some paperwork. Yeah.
Cool. So you're in San Diego.
Yes, in San Diego. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't. I'm sure people know this, but yeah, Jason was my roommate here in Kona at this house that I'm in right now. He was our roommate, Uncle Jason. He used to go everywhere with us. And then the beginning of 2020, he moved to San Diego with his girlfriend, awesome MMA fighter, awesome Hawaii girl, Ilima McFarlane. And now that's where they've been living. And then right after you guys moved in, freaking pandemic hit. So you guys are, I'm sure, were forced to get to know a lot about each other very quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I know that there are probably some fun stories about how you cope with living in such close quarters with people, especially when you're like a new couple, or even me, newlyweds, me and my husband. That shit is wild. But I know that we all have our methods of figuring it out.
Sure.
Let's see. What have you been up to music wise?
I've been we formed our little COVID band with Nico, the singer of Tribal Theory, and Korik Watson, the guitar man horror of everywhere. So he plays with everyone pretty much, and yeah, we've been just doing a lot of private gigs, I guess, and doing a lot of house parties, and things are slowly opening up. So we're playing smaller bar, restaurant, venue type things, and yeah.
What is the name of your band?
It's B-Lot. Yeah, B hyphen LOT, B-Lot. Yeah.
Nice. B-Lot.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's just it's not the A-Lot and it's not the C-Lot, but it's the B-Lot, Yeah.
Got it. Ray Sensei, do you want to expand on your knowledge of the Filipino language at all?
But it's with an American spelling, so I don't know,
I'm just kidding. B-Lot means vagina, right? In Filipino, but it's so catchy. The kids love it.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it. It's not an offensive term. And when you see the smiles on these handsome boys' faces, you will not be offended by their name, their music, nothing. So that's good. I've been watching
Filipino parties. Yeah. So it's
Filipinos love the B-Lot boys. Who wouldn't?
The elders, especially the elders, they love it the most. Yeah.
That's great. Whatever works, man. But yeah, I mean, I know that it's been weird to not be performing. With me, it's been weird.
Yeah.
But for me, I haven't been performing. But I think this is so exciting that you are really thriving. And I definitely know that San Diego is such a perfect place for you in this chapter of your life. You were in Kona for so many years, and he never got to really live anywhere else, right? I mean, you lived in Utah for a bit.
Yeah. But other than that, and then being on the road with you for almost the last 10 years. Yeah. Yeah, so I've been in Kona for over 30 something years, and yeah, I miss it and stuff, but I've been there for a long time and can always come back, which we definitely plan on doing later. But yeah, for now, just enjoying it.
San Diego is my second favorite place. I love that city. We have
Yeah.
a lot of San Diego people in this chat right now, don't we?
Oh,
I see a
really?
couple.
Oh, what's
Boop, boop.
up, everybody? Yeah, I freaking love it here, big time, for sure.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So
What's up,
another
Ray?
thing. Yeah, so Jason and we were just talking with the Aloha Thyself tier. So
Mhm.
I started this Patreon because I needed some direction with my creativity. I felt like a lot of my energy was just getting wasted. I was giving attention to people who didn't care, or I was giving too much of myself to the people that didn't matter. And that was like a lesson that I learned from watching a lot of Brene Brown. She's like this amazing author and public speaker. She's educated on shame, and that's like her education background on shame and vulnerability. But there's a lot of bravery in being vulnerable, and they're interchangeable terms. Like when you are being vulnerable, you're being brave. And so again, you moving to a place that you haven't been before is very brave, very vulnerable, but that's where creativity is allowed to flourish, like
Sure.
when you're in that vulnerable state. So that was why like I started this Patreon, because I felt like I was so disconnected with my creative side. I was barely writing songs. I was kind of just surviving, and it was freaking exhausting. I didn't know what to do. So now that I'm throwing myself out there, if you listen to the first 2 episodes of this podcast, I'm like crying. I'm like bawling the whole entire time. People are listening to me cry for 35 minutes. So now I'm like, but as I keep doing it, it's getting better and better, and I'm getting stronger and stronger and better. And I'm just feeling better about this whole thing. So that's kind of
awesome.
where you're jumping in, episode 3. Yeah. And then, so I went away to rehab for a bit, as you know, and I even wrote a song with the intention for me to do with the B-Lot Boys. We should totally play it. Oh my God. Should we play it right now?
Yeah.
Raw. It's called Raw. It's the letters R-A-W. I use those letters like 3 different times in 3 different places in that song. Real ass woman, ready and willing, raised among warriors. Like,
I know you've been ruthless around women. Baby, I just have an appetite. I was raised among warriors. Well, boy, I am a warrior. Let's cook up some originals tonight. Yeah.
With that, I wanted to bring in Natalie to talk story for a second. What's up, girl? Hey, girl, you ready? How you doing?
I'm all jazzed up still from our
I know.
I'm
that
like
was intense.
sweating. Good thing there's no one around me because I feel like I smell.
What were we talking about back then? What did you take from the Aloha Thyself podcast that you maybe want to share?
It was what we talked about was like all the different kinds of modalities and sources that we can bring together to have a complete picture. It's not just one thing. It's not just medication. It's not just putting your toes in the sand. You know, there's energetic work that you could do, nutrition, and, I talked about naturopathic medicine and journaling and faith and Jesus and, your God. And so there's just like, it's like healing can be overwhelming in itself.
But so many facets. I think that was the biggest takeaway too. What we realized, like on this journey of finding yourself and in this journey that we're all on in life, like not one thing is going to work for the same people. Like everybody has a different combination. And I'm going through that journey with the whole medication thing right now. Like I got off of all of my medication. So I'm completely natural. This is my true authentic Anu, but I'm still freaking the fuck out. So I know that what I'm doing is not quite enough. Maybe there's something missing, to really feel fulfilled. And that maybe people don't need medicine. Some people don't need prescription medication. Some people do. Jason, do you have any thoughts on what has worked for you to help you really feel your best? Because you were going through a transitional phase. When I first met you, you were still eating meat. I think I was with you the very last time you had a meat burger, and that was at the Jack in the Box on the fucking corner of Kapulani or something.
Yeah, it was by the rehearsal studio. I forgot which
Vibe Asylum. No.
Yeah, Vibe Asylum. Yeah. Is that what it's called?
I freaking kind of forget. It's so long ago. But yeah, so what made you want to change your diet and what else? Because I mean, you look completely different too. You look happier, healthier, bigger. Tell us your secret.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was basically, well, the person that expired was Justin Young, like going on tour with him. And remember, like, we were just eating like crap, and he was always like watching what he would eat. I'm like, well, you're a really healthy guy, aren't you? And he's like, yeah, I do this and that. I'm like, oh, that's pretty badass. And he's like, yeah, I'll show you some documentaries and books or whatever, but you should just enjoy all your food. Cause it was my first like tour, right, with you and everything, like where, I never had like a real like Philly cheesesteak or like any of the New York stuff. So like I wanted to enjoy myself. But anyway, it was pretty much him that like triggered it. And I watched the documentaries he kind of told me to. And yeah, from there on, I kind of just like made a decision. And it wasn't just one reason, like, oh, I love the animals, so I'm going to stop, or I love the environment or whatever, or I love myself. It was like all of that all together, like just like one overall decision that made me like
which documentaries? Say the name of them so we can look them up.
It was like Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead was kind of one, and it's basically about like kind of like truck drivers. They live like a really unhealthy life. They just pretty much sit on their butts for like 8 hours a day and eat a bunch of fast food and all that stuff, right? So yeah, Fed Up too. That's a great one. Yeah. But
how about How Not to Die? Anybody read that one or listened to that book?
I did. Well, listen to that one. Yeah.
It's not. Game Changers.
Yeah.
That's more recent, but yeah.
Good. But this one is like super old, like 2013-ish. But anyway, the guy at first he has to take like 14 medications or so before he, like in his normal diet. And then he does like a 90-day juice cleanse. And then at the end of that 90-day juice cleanse, all his medication, he has take 0 of them, and all his like skin conditions, everything all cleared up. It's basically his diet that was killing him.
Yeah.
And so like he became like this juicing advocate from like an unhealthy 350-pound trucker to like pouring juices and all this kind of stuff and everything. And I thought that was pretty inspiring. So yeah, basically I made the change for myself, the animals, environment, and all of that stuff. And it's been 8 or 9 years, and it's the best I felt. And yeah, so I like, pescatarian life.
Jason's like 55 years old, you guys, and look at how great he looks.
Right.
He looks amazing. I'm just kidding. He's not 55, but no, for real, Jason.
Yeah.
So, your girlfriend is a professional athlete. I mean, does she have a good influence on are you influencing her? Is she influencing you? Have things changed since you guys started living together and you're not living, the late night food vibes after that you were?
It definitely goes both ways for sure. Like we inspire each other, like when we need to step in there, especially when she gets towards camp, then of course I have to kind of change my way of eating or just not eat in front of her or whatever.
Or not drinking and stuff, right? Like maybe around her. Cause to not drink, to not drink and then have to be around somebody who's drinking is sometimes not that easy. So are you still drinking? I heard you were allergic. You said you did some sort of blood test, right? Why don't you tell us about that? Because we were talking about that before,
I did this like home allergy test. So we both did them together because we're like, she was having skin issues and I felt, it looked bloated, like this huge round tummy, like every day. So we did a home allergy test and it comes out to find out I was like allergic to oatmeal and like gluten, barley, beer, wheat, like all this kind of stuff. So that's why like I was getting this huge tummy. So yeah, not because of the beer, but because the oatmeal every morning and stuff. And
and you think you're eating healthy when you're eating oatmeal, but it took the test
for me. For me, it wasn't being healthy. So yeah.
What test was it?
What was it called again?
It's called like allergytest.com.
Allergytest.com, and it's like at home. Yeah, food sensitivity.
Oh, like Everlywell. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it. Okay, I think I actually have that kit. Like I just didn't do it, but you send like a blood drop off of your finger.
Well, for us, we set it 5 hairs. 5
That's
strands. Yeah, just 5 hairs.
And a bowel movement? No.
No, that's it.
That's another test. Some of them they do. They like test your freaking doo-doo. They really get
unless
down
it comes
in
with it, like all in one. It's a dingleberry.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, totally. That's exactly what we were talking about the last Aloha Thyself. We were just, whoa, what? Whoa.
Hey there, Boomer.
He sees a ghost, guarantee. He barks for no reason. Get up, let him outside. Maybe he has to go do. Sorry, my son is here. So just the fact that is not just one thing that you need to check when you go to the doctor, like Western medicine, Kaiser Permanente. Your regular doctor will tell you if you have high blood pressure. He'll be able to tell you if you have diabetes. Yes, but there are other things inside of your body that need to be found out. And sometimes, okay, no worries, baby. And sometimes, you know, you have to do the hard inner work to identify each of those little things, whether it's the macronutrients based on getting a finger prick or a hair follicle, figuring out what you're depleted, what you're not getting in your diet. But also, I think inside of your heart and soul, that part, your brain, your therapy, that's such an important component to just overall health. What I learned in rehab and therapy, or I call it rehab, I call it treatment, like the physical ailments that I was having are a lot because of emotional shit I was carrying around. And that's like such a thing in Hawaiian culture too. Like I have these hip issues and I kept thinking, oh, it's because I was running a half marathon. I was training half marathon. My hip was clicking, and I would not be able to sleep at night. And at therapy, it was getting worse. I like was just sitting. I was that weird girl who like had the bouncy ball at therapy while everybody else was sitting in chairs. I had the bouncy ball because, oh, sorry, my hip. And then they're like, okay, do you want to go get it checked out? I'm like, yeah, sure. So we went to Hilo Medical Center. I got x-rays. I got ultrasound. They checked my hip. I thought for sure I had like osteoarthritis in there. I'm like, for sure. Yeah. And then guess what? Nothing. They were like, there was nothing. And I was like, check again. Like I was mad and I was almost embarrassed. But what I realized, it was me channeling this something not connecting into a body part, and emotions very much so, especially in women, get handled in their hips. So have you ever felt that before? Like any sort of bodily pain get better when you ho'oponopono, or like when a relationship in your life gets better? Anybody else can relate, maybe even in the chat.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like that's common. I hear a lot of around people too, that like hold stuff in, that get that, you know, somewhere, a lot of tension built up.
Natalie, have you ever felt that before? Ashton, have you? We got Ashton in the house. Do you remember Ashton?
For me, absolutely. I feel like, and like your emotions are energy, and energy is supposed to flow through your body. So when you are not managing your mental health and your emotional health, that oftentimes creeps up in ailments. And like you were saying, in your hips, that's the center of your divine feminine space. That's like the oracle, you're all knowing. And so if you're not honoring her, if you're not like talking to her and letting her run your life, then you end up having problems in that area because you're not listening to your body. You're not like in there, connected in there. So yes, I have absolutely had those things happen in my own with my migraines. I have really bad
migraines. Yes. I'm sorry. We've talked about that too. Like we both have migraines.
Yes.
At similar times. We're like, we're migraine sisters. Like, I mean, that's not something to be proud of, but we do feel that same kind of vibe. Whether it's from this, I mean, there's so many different kinds of people in this room right now and out there listening to the podcast. Some people that believe in astrology and some people who absolutely don't. But the bottom line is you can listen to your body no matter what you believe in. And if your body's always talking to you. So being in touch with what your body's telling you is so important, right?
Yeah. Well, and usually when you and I are going through that too, it's around the same time that we both have said yes to things that aren't necessarily in alignment with what we want to do. We're saying yes because we feel like we have to, that we're like, we don't want to disappoint people, you know, whatever it is, even though in the back of our mind, we're like, well, I'd really rather not do that thing.
And that's where the whole conversation of boundaries comes in.
Yes,
we were talking about that before. Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Does anybody else have anything to share about either boundaries or anything about self-healing? Look is saying there's one thing, Shannon, the physical pain was caused by the emotional pain. So although physicians could not find anything wrong, the pain was clearly there. Absolutely. It's there. Okay. That was another thing. Let's talk about this for a second. Jason, did you watch that documentary on Apple TV Plus? It's a 5-part documentary called The Me You Don't See. Have you seen it? Oh, please watch it. Please watch it. It's made by Oprah and Prince Harry. We were talking about this on Aloha Thyself, but I watched it last night. I binge watched it, and just the things that they bring to everyone's attention in such a beautiful, professional way. Episode 3, they even talk about psychedelic mushrooms.
Oh, nice.
psilocybin, and how that helps a lot with people who have depression, PTSD. Um, this is a safe space, but it is also public domain. Do you have any thoughts on using medicine, mushrooms as medicine, or even THC and weed, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for me, definitely smoking weed, or taking the medicine, I guess they want to say. But yeah, that definitely saved and changed my life for sure. I was like an ADD, ADHD kid, like always like, you know, getting in trouble and being bad in school. And I never did ever picture myself like really smoking weed all the time until like I was later in life, like 19 or 20-ish actually. And then I smoked it and I was like super found out how mellow I could get, instead of being like hyperactive and insane. So I was like, wow, this is actually like working out for me and calm me down. And then kind of been stuck with it since then. And then the mushrooms thing, I do not, I wouldn't say normally, but microdose and stuff. And that's always enlightened my thinking. If I have a like set intent on like, like things I want to accomplish or like whatever, then yeah, I take it and have a good time doing that as well.
Right. There's like two different types of the mushroom healing, I think, right? There's like the
For sure.
guided, when you are like with somebody who's trying to get you through maybe a blockage. That was what they talked about in the Oprah documentary, in the Me You Can't See. There was a guy who was dealing with severe depression. He took the anti-anxiety, antidepressants. He went to therapy. Nothing was working for him. He tried like a guided mushroom experience where the lights are off. They have music that triggers the different things that the person is verbalizing to him. The first one didn't work, but the second one, it did. So that's another thing too. Like sometimes these therapies, you kind of have to give it a chance. I did acupuncture. It was part of our process at rehab. It was like included in your package. You get massage, you get acupuncture. I didn't really feel anything from the acupuncture, but I know I need to try again. It's not like I tried it twice. Have you done acupuncture? Have you found that beneficial?
Yeah, for sure. So like there's a couple of girls up here that I went to that were really good that I liked. So yeah, actually every time I had acupuncture, I felt a little different. Yeah, Monica for sure. She was awesome. And then I went to this other girl, Tiffany, but every time I keep going, it gets better and better for me. Like I can feel way more things flowing, more muscles jumping when I get it. It's pretty good. Yeah.
I know you do cupping. You do the cupping stuff too, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm totally coming to
all in one.
Cupping and what?
Cupping and acupuncture and massage all in one. She does it all. And then when the needles are in you, she tickles them. And then like it feels super insane. Yeah. And then and you're just like, whoa.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, share her number, Monica, wherever you are. Does she do like hotel calls, house calls? Because that would be kind of cool for like backstage, I think. One time I just will always remember Natalie backstage when you I think it was was it Thanksgiving or was it Valentine that you came? It was Thanksgiving that you came to the Blue Note, right? Natalie, where are you?
Yeah, it was Thanksgiving, I think.
Thanksgiving. Yeah. Well, I was having a major anxiety moment. So just so you guys have a little background, Natalie Fakara is one of my best friends. She was one of my bridesmaids at my wedding. She also was my merch girl, went on tour with me as a tour manager. She also promoted tons of shows in SD, but I stole her from that and had her come on the road with me. But, despite all of the things that you've been through and your struggles with dealing with things, you are an amazing healer. Like you heal, and that's another thing. Even I'm telling myself that every time I get nervous to come onto this podcast or come onto I am so not worthy of people's like to pay attention to me. But at the end of the day, yes, I am. Yes, we all are, because we're just sharing what we know. That's all we can do, right? We're just sharing what we know, and people can take from that what they want and feeling like they're not alone. But anyway, Natalie's ability to make me feel calm in that green room was freaking incredible. You did your Reiki, right? You were going, I remember you went like that, clapped your hands, rubbed them together, and then you like touched certain parts of my body. I was like in tears. What were you doing?
What was I doing? So yeah, just moving energy through your moving energy, and I don't know, like you have to go through training for it. It's not something that I just like made up or anything. But yeah, just trying to push things through and clear. And I know you, and so I know like that you do have anxiety before you go on stage. Like every time, it's like when I see, I'm like, she's done this a million times, but I don't know what's going on inside of you. But when I put my hands on you and breathe, and I'm just a conductor of outside energy and bringing it through me, through you, and just kind of like bringing some and peace and calming into the room. And but yeah, I'm actually getting my second certification July 10th. I'll be a Reiki 2. So
Good. Oh, Reiki too. That's great. I know that was my first experience with it. I saw it on like a reality TV show. I think Vanderpump Rules. If anybody watches that show, the guy Jax, he would like get his Reiki, and he like fell in love with his Reiki girl because she's that amazing. And that's kind of how I felt. I'm like, oh my God, I love you. Like, I was like, I love you. Like, it just was incredible. But I have to, Jason, I don't know if you've even heard this out of my mouth yet. So I think I have to share this story with everybody here, because this was what it was like. The anxiety that I was feeling at the Blue Note this past Mother's Day weekend was so freaking intense and horrible. Like, it was the worst I had ever had it in my life. And flashing back to the memories of where I had the support from friends, flashing back to when Natalie was in that green room with me, giving me Reiki, like I was trying everything in my mind just to like go back there in my head. Like, can I just be teleported back to and Jason is normally with me at every single gig for the past, almost 8 years. Jason has always been right there, and he wasn't. And it was so hard. Like, I'm getting emotional even thinking about it, just because it was like the hardest thing I ever did. Why? Like, why was that so hard for me? Something must have been, I still have like some sort of blocked issue where I'm not able to do it myself. Like, I have to rely on the energies of others to help get me through, or the energies of alcohol or other things. And that's like where I'm just kind of bummed that I'm going through that journey right now, like where I'm thinking that I was strong enough, but I'm not, like, oh, it sucks. It really sucks. Jason, I was on stage at sound check. We were doing sound check, and we had Jen and we had Nicole, and they both sounded so good. They're like, oh, this sounds great. Cause normally Jason takes a certain harmony, but they were covering for him, and the music sounded great. We had Brad Watanabe on bass. So Brad is like the second best bass player in Hawaii next to Jason. So I was covered musically. Jaden was there, but I was just like having these, like my heart would start beating, and people were saying hi to me, like that girl Ananda, right? She's like, hi, Anu. And I'm like, like, it was so embarrassing. I had to like run off stage crying, and I couldn't breathe. And then Rob's in the back, oh, sister, are you okay? I'm like, leave me alone. And like, I couldn't handle, I like locked myself in the room. Like, I can't do this. Like, it was that bad. And then after I'm pushing everybody away, like, can I help? Can I get you anything? I'm like, no. I don't know what to do. I got to cancel the shows. Like Kimmy A, I didn't even tell her to do this. She just comes bursting in the door. She had been drinking. It was mom's night out. It's Mother's Day. So she like wasn't listening to me when she's like, can I come? I'm like, no, I'm good. She didn't listen to me. She just came anyway. And that's exactly what I needed. Like, I needed a friend who wasn't going to tiptoe around me, like be scared. Cause I think that's what everybody is. Sometimes they're like a little scared of me. And it takes like that true friend to push through that guard that I put up, or that, some of us can put up sometimes. Like, no, I'm good. But are you good? I don't think you are. So she came in with some oils. She had, what is it? She had the doTERRA. Come on, name some doTERRAs. You guys know doTERRAs.
I'm trying to think. I know most of the Young Livings, so I know.
Been calming.
Yeah.
There's peace and calm. There's
it's like a mentholy one. It was like a mentholy one.
Eucalyptus.
It had like a word.
What kind of word?
It had like a real word. It wasn't like a name of a plant. It had like an intention, like that, like a motivate, like something like that.
Yeah, or joyful, or uplift.
Yeah, it was something like that.
I have all those roll-ons. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. She came in with that. We listened to some India Ari. My God, India Ari. Like, will never get old for me. And she's massaging the back of my neck. And then when I went up there's 2 sets, right? On the first show, and she was sitting in the audience, and I had a bench, a little stool to sit down on when I'm singing. I think it was Grandpa, or no, it was actually Shoulders. I was sitting on the bench for Shoulders, and so I could like snap my finger and kind of keep it like intimate. Actually, yeah, I was holding a guitar, so I was sitting on the bench holding the guitar, singing and playing. But you could see my fucking panties, the whole entire front row. Everybody could see my entire front of my panties. So I'm wearing like a short dress, but it's not that short. I was just sitting in a really weird. So what does this girl do in the midst of my anxiety, knowing that I'm very fragile and very, very sensitive, but I would have been horrified, mortified, and probably wouldn't have done the second show if I found out that my panties were showing the entire show. She got out of her seat, walked around the plexiglass, came on stage, and puts her hand on my shoulder during the song Shoulders and whispers in my ear, "Can see your panties, can you stand up?" And without skipping a beat, I'm like, okay. And I just keep playing and then save the day. So I'm like, that's a true friend. She got like the gold star true friend for the whole weekend. So even though you weren't there, Jason.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll be there
Natalie,
in Napa though, so yeah.
I know. Yeah. So that's a very exciting announcement, everybody. We're playing at the Napa. It's actually north of Napa. I say Napa because it's convenient to say Napa, but it's actually like 30 minutes north of Napa in Calistoga / St. Helena. Any Bay Area people can holla. But what? I think you guys, if Ilima's never been to wine country before, I think we should do that Oakland gig on Friday night. You guys should go holo holo on your own on Saturday. Go wine tasting together, and then on Sunday come meet me at the Kind. That's just a suggestion. Just change your flight.
For sure, I'm definitely down to. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Definitely down to do the Friday one too.
So then there's Saturday that's off, and you can do whatever. That'd be cool. Yeah. So yeah, you heard it here first, folks. I'm probably gonna end up doing this show in Oakland, California on Friday, June 24th. I believe it's the 24th. Oh no, wait, 24th, 25th, 26th. I forget, whatever the Friday is.
Day after my birthday. Boom.
25th.
Oh my God, that's right.
Oh, never mind. Friday's the 25th though, so it's 2 days after.
Oh, but we still be celebrating. That's exciting. Okay, cool. Natalie knew his birthday. Yeah, super duper cool. So Oakland, it would just be like it would probably just be me and you, Jason, like the good old days of.
The last time we played at this place.
Whatever. I was before Jason, bitch. No,
yes, Natalie was. She was.
But
awesome.
I can't play any instruments. I can't even play the spoons. So.
But you can shake that ass. Kenna, my son, can you go in the other room? No, I'm just kidding. Can you put the AC back on? I am sweating like a dog in here. Yeah. Anyway. Dogs don't sweat. You're right, son. They pant and excrete their sweat in other ways, right? Aw, come say hi real fast. You haven't made an appearance on this thing for a long time. Let's say hi to all the people. Here, I'll show you gallery view. Say what's up.
Hi.
They can't.
Oh.
He can't hear you, but I can hear them. They're all saying hi. Who do you recognize?
Uncle Jason and
Auntie Natalie,
Yeah.
yeah. And what about, you remember her?
oh yeah.
Auntie Ashton, she
Yeah.
came over to our house. Then Uncle Ray Sensei, of course. He's met most of you guys in person before. Auntie Christina, I don't know if he's met you, probably on Zoom. But yeah, he has 4 more days left of first grade.
3.
3 more days left of first grade. Then it's summertime. Show him your tooth. Jeez, that was exciting. But you are just the best little thing. Oh, Auntie Layla, of course. Yes. Where's Leilani? Is she sleeping?
She's resting.
She's resting. Okay. But yeah, we just wanted to say hi with you, Kenna, real quick. But you can go back. Can you please turn the AC on though for rural? Anyway. But yeah, so can we talk about for a moment to therapy? We talked about it a little bit in Aloha Thyself. It's just one of the many components of self-healing, self-love on everyone's journey. that I think is really important. I had never really had therapy my whole entire life until this year, 2021. I had a big fight with my husband on New Year's Eve night, and I was just like so lost and frustrated, and I didn't know what to do. So luckily I like Googled therapists, and this website BetterHelp came up, and I liked it because it was anonymous. And for me, like, to find a therapist on island, I get really freaked out because I'm afraid they're gonna know me, and oh, you're Anuhea the singer, and then if I share too much, they're gonna tell their families. I know they're not supposed to, but I just really don't believe that they're not gonna share anything, and I want to get deep. So I wanted to have a anonymous person from freaking far away. So I was connected with this therapist named Frederica. She's in New York City, but lo and behold, she actually lived in Hawaii. So she totally like knew who I was. I was like, oh my God, but it was okay. She was discreet, and it was cool. We had a consistent conversation that opened the door to the idea of therapy for me. There was worksheets that we would do every in between sessions, but it was one session a week. It cost $260 a month. So it was about, 6, 12, 80, about $60 a week. So I mean, we talked about being able to afford it and stuff. Like, some insurance doesn't cover certain kinds of health care like that. And that wasn't covered by my insurance. So it is out of pocket, but that's why I was trying to make the most of it. And she was the first person that I told when I was considering going to like rehab. I thought that I had something more than just anxiety and depression. And she said, yes, you need to talk to somebody else. Go talk to your primary care physician, get checked out by a psychiatrist. So that was really cool. Has anybody else, let's start with you, Jason, have you found therapy to be a helpful tool in getting through maybe relationship stuff or childhood stuff, or have you even experienced therapy?
For sure, yeah. We have we're being like are in therapy, couples therapy, but she helped me like touch on issues, that I had with my dad and stuff, and some deep-seated like childhood issues to get through them and stuff. And she definitely helped me and Nima out a lot as far as our relationship, to where it was like weekly, and then now we haven't seen her for almost 3 weeks. It's mostly because Nima was kind of busy and stuff and traveling, but we also like are starting to taper off of the every week because we feel like we're kind of like at a better place now in life, period, like as individuals and as a couple. So yeah.
I was told when I went away to rehab, it was therapy nonstop. Like, I had never had that much therapy in my life. Like, it was so immersive. It was exposure therapy. It was cognitive behavioral therapy. It was like meditation kind of stuff where they take you on a journey while you're in a meditative state. It was incredible. Like, every day I would cry my ass off and feel exhausted. Like, I ran a marathon every single time, every day, but it was just mostly therapy. But I'm glad I got it all out of me. But now that I'm back to real life again and I don't have that, I'm really struggling, like the maintenance. And that's kind of what they said too, about what they told me in there, is that you got to keep it up. Like, even the guy who was my therapist, he said that him and his wife, who's the co-founder of this rehab facility, he's the author, he's amazing, he's the one giving me advice. He goes to therapy every single week with his wife. And I'm like, but you guys are amazing. Like, yeah, we are amazing. But the reason why we're amazing is because we continue the therapy.
Exactly.
So that was, so that's why I'm worried. Like,
I don't
we're
see
good.
us continuing it, but like definitely not going every single week anymore, but like definitely still having this therapist, and for sure, like, because she, like I said, she helps us out individually and together. So
that's great. And how do you guys meet up, in person or on Zoom? Or
it's all on it's all on Zoom.
And how did you link up with someone? How did you find
so Elima looked her up and was looking up therapists for us, and came across her and liked her a lot, and we just decided to go with her. And she didn't know anything about Hawaii. No, in San Diego. Yeah. So she was looking at for someone near. We weren't aware that we're gonna have to do it over the computer. Like, we were thinking that we're gonna have to go in and go do it. So that's why we wanted someone around. And then she's like, yeah, it's not back to that point yet. So we went the Zoom ones,
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people's fear sometimes, is that I don't know, the anxiety that's associated with going into an office and sitting down face to face with somebody, like, at least for me, that part was a deterrent. Like, I don't have the time. I don't want to look at somebody in the eye. Like, I have a hard time like talking to people in person without being
Yeah.
drunk. Like, that would scare me. Yeah. So the whole pandemic, the fact that everything has to be on Zoom is kind of a cool thing, because I think it's opening up more avenues. Even therapists who weren't offering Zoom before are now going to offer Zoom, even when the pandemic is because it's that
so
effective.
much more convenient.
Yeah.
And I was definitely nervous, so I'm glad that being at home made a little more comfortable for me to be, like, not as nervous.
Tell us the truth. Did you ever have a hard kombucha while you're having therapy?
No.
Don't lie.
No, just a regular probiotic kind.
But that one makes you a little buzzy. That's how I get. That's my one little loophole. Like, I don't drink anymore, but I definitely drink kombucha, regular kombucha. You get a little buzz. But no, yeah, man, freaking sobriety is so nuts. Have you ever been sober before?
Not like completely, but like,
Taking breaks? Have you ever taken a break?
Yeah, I've taken breaks for sure.
How long was your break?
Not of marijuana, but like drinking, yeah, for sure.
How long was your drinking break?
I think maybe like a month. I did a month one time but it was like in like 2012 or something like that. I think there was once where I didn't drink for like 2 weeks on it. Remember? It was like on the East Coast or something. But there was like some weird tour, and I decided not to drink for like 2 weeks on it.
That might make some people laugh to hear that's pretty much it. Like me, I have not ever taken a break from drinking since I was pregnant. And even when I was pregnant, it was super fucking hard. It wasn't that hard to not drink when I had a baby in my belly, but just the fact that I couldn't do much else. I had to like hide in my bunk. I couldn't do meet and greets after shows because I was still touring and stuff. Like, I relied so heavily on alcohol just to get through my job. And it is such a normal part, I think, of the musician culture to drink. If you work in the industry, if you work at a bar restaurant, like, it is so common. So some people may be surprised to hear that we've like taking a break for 2 weeks even is a big deal, but it is a fucking big deal. I haven't drank for
if you're like, especially when you're like performing and stuff, and like, it's like, like it's, I don't know. For some of us, it like takes the edge off, and then you're like, oh, but yeah, it's kind of hard when everyone's like around it. It's all around and it's free. You're on stage, people are like putting drinks at your feet, like, and stuff a lot of the time.
Yeah, when you're on stage. And then the ritual of like, I used to, before every single show, have like a shot of Jaeger. This was when I first started. And I remember being on like USO tours, Natalie, like away. I think you and Ilimo went on one, right? Where you go visit the troops. And then me and Jason came on a couple with me where we would go to Japan or Okinawa and visit military bases. But I remember one of my very first ones, it was like me and JP and like Vince Esquire, I think, and this other guy, Wolf. And I was like 23. And I had so much anxiety before going into a radio interview on bass. I had a bottle of Crown and I was chugging Crown on like the bus right before I went into this radio interview. And that honestly made me feel comforted to know that this was my anxiety that I've been feeling is not something that's new, that I'm just making up now in my later of life. Like, this was something that since the very beginning of my performing, I have been dealing with, but just masking with alcohol. And I've never felt the feelings. And Jason, you've probably seen this thing get worse and worse for me over the years. I remember you even just be like, anxiety, like, come on, like, no, come on, and even everybody like, you got this, Anu, you got this. And I do got this. I figure it out somewhere or another. I freaking figured it out, but that wasn't the right thing to do, right? Like, in hindsight, 2020, I was just masking this. I was just getting through it, but I needed to attack the real issue behind my anxiety. Like, what is the problem? Why can't I just do a show without drinking? Do I have some childhood issues that are blocking me from feeling confident up there? Like, I'm still working through it. I don't have an answer, but I think that the lesson that I guess I'm trying to share with everybody here is that, there's no, if something is not serving you in your life, freaking figure it out. And there is a way around it. We can figure out a way to achieve anything that you want to achieve in your life, there is a way to do it. And it doesn't have to be with using substances to get there. You don't have to starve yourself to be healthy. You don't have to take pills to be happy. I mean, maybe you need something like that, but I think you got to do the inner work. You got to do the hard work. You're not just going to wake up and have a 6-pack. You know what I mean? You got to put in the work. Anybody else want to share? We are running a little bit out of time, and tonight is like a short one because I'm mommy duty and I have to cook my kid dinner. He literally opened up 3 Rice Krispie treats while I was on this podcast. I watched him open it.
He's gonna stay up all night with a sugar rush. Yeah.
Somebody, Melanie, Mel, what are you saying right here? Therapy was never introduced, which resulted in carrying the world in my shoulders. And then Bell's Polly. Do you want to say this verbally, or would you prefer not to? Yeah, go ahead, girl. You can unmute yourself. There you are.
Hey.
Hi.
First of all, you guys are all amazing. Oh my gosh, sharing your stories. I love this. So yeah, I was raised trailer park, you know, dad was a logger, mom's a bartender. Like that's life. You just deal with it. Just, you know, you shove it under there. And it was always addiction, all that kind of stuff with them. And so therapy was just never, it's like, oh, other people do that, you know. But eventually, like, if you stuff it long enough and your body's screaming at you, you just got to pay attention. And it's like coming around again. And I'm like, I think I need to give this another shot. I went once, reconnecting with my dad a couple years before he passed away. And I went to a therapist and she tripped the fuck out on me. And I'm like,
what do you mean?
Like, okay, I'm there. I'm like feeling all kinds of guilt because, you know, mom and dad had their deal. And it's like, okay, I kind of want to reconnect with this man and, you know, learn the man he became and, you know, see what he's all about. And, you know, all these years went by and I'm like, and I'm feeling guilty, you know, because I love my mom, but I know it's hurtful to her. So I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to this lady. And I sit there and I'm like, look, just so you know, straight up, this is something I want to do for me. Like, this is my journey. This is my thing. I'm not trying to fix anybody else. And by the time I left there, she was trying to tell me to have my dad write my mom a letter of apology for all the things he did to her and like all this stuff. And I'm like, lady, you have some issues. Like,
so it was a bad experience.
It was
you had a bad experience.
So honestly, my whole life I've been my own therapist. I mean, I swear, I feel like that. That's why I'm a therapist. Hello.
Hey, she's a hair. But there are oh my God. So she does hair. I just had my hair done by Noelle Sue. Beautiful, and she was telling me that oh yeah, thank you, my hair. But she was telling me that that actually now hairdressers, even manicurists, sometimes they are offering classes to have them learn therapeutic techniques for people because inevitably you guys are becoming therapists, whether you want to or not. So give yourselves the tools that you need to cope and not take home that with you, right?
And your friend Natalie, like, oh my gosh, you're so bomb, Natalie. Like the Reiki, I love Reiki so much. And I can tell, like, you are a healer. Totally. You're so lucky to have her in your life. Seriously, I can just tell. I mean, she's amazing. And that's a big thing. And actually I've done that, you know, with people without even people knowing, because like, I feel like I'm an empath and I can just feel people. And that's where the boundary thing we talked about, well, different time, but I've had to set boundaries because, you know, as an empath, like someone walks in the door and they're all kinds of twisted up and you're like, ooh, like I feel sick. I don't want to feel that. So I try to fix it by loving them and giving myself to them and love's going to fix it all. But then they don't recognize or they don't appreciate or, you know what I'm saying? And then
wasted.
It's like you just don't want to feel sick anymore. So you want to like love that person and fix them up. And then, you know, then you're all good. But yeah, the boundaries, that your discussion with that helped a lot. I've already set a couple, boundaries there.
Good.
So,
She's referring to like one
but-
of the other podcasts where we're talking about how protecting yourself with boundaries is very important. And I'm learning that not saying yes to everything. Jason, I think that I'm watching with my very eyes you doing that. Like you've created boundaries for yourself with what gigs that you're choosing and not over promising and under delivering. And I think that that's probably helping your mental health. You don't have to like explain yourself to, or let people down. Like it's just so important, right? Like boundaries.
And when you get to a point you don't feel like you owe an explanation, that's like your true love for yourself, I think, finding that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I still
also
am in
the
that.
stress, people will weigh down on you. So that therapy thing, I'm getting into that. I had Bell's palsy and I really feel it was direct. I mean, it was my body screaming at a very stressful time in my life. And, you know, it's like you don't listen and you just push through, you push through and you don't deal with it. And your body, you know, it does things like your hip and things and rashes and all that stuff. So
yeah,
with the pandemic or with all this, you know, having 2 salons and all this and all these stylists, and I feel responsible for everyone. And I'm like, shit, I don't want to get it on the other side now, you know? So I'm like, I got to do something. So then your Insta came up and you were on this journey of your own. I was like, that's right. I'm doing this. I'm doing this with my girl, Anu.
So happy. I'm so
and
happy.
Fabulous people. You've got amazing people in this room. So I feel very blessed to just be a part of this. So thanks, you guys. And I don't always speak. So thanks for letting me just be that creeper in the background sometimes. This one was coming, so I'm racing home, and then that hot guy popped on, and I was like, "Hey, no, no, just teasing. I know you're taken." So
no,
nice.
but that's so many of you guys are arranging your schedules to be with this group, and I really appreciate it. I have a lot of hope that this will reach people and help people just from us being ourselves. And for me talking to some of my best friends every single week, like I feel like that's perfect. Like we don't need to bring in a freaking clinical psychologist every single week to make this be worthwhile. We can just be ourselves and talk to each other just like any group of friends would. But I also do want to say about the therapy thing, talking to somebody who does know what they're talking about is good. And I don't want you to get discouraged from your bad first experience. Just like in that documentary that I mentioned, the me you don't see, that guy who did the mushrooms the first time and he'd had no results, he could have given up and he would have never felt as amazing as he does now, but he tried again. And so I think we got to give everything a little bit of time. Try again on BetterHelp. That's the only thing I can really suggest.
Tomorrow. I'm doing it again.
Yeah, it's
gonna give another
all
shot.
online. Yeah, all online. And you can either speak to them on the phone, you can even just text message. That was one of the options. You can text with somebody during an allotted period of time. So, or you could FaceTime or whatever. So whatever your flavor, there's a therapy for everybody. And I love it. Do you guys have any other last words of wisdom that you want to share before we wrap it up here?
No, just thanks for having me. I can't wait to jam out. And Oakland and the next night.
I know, but regardless, I probably do need to bring an additional friend. Like Ilima was so kind to offer her services. She's like, I'll work merch for you. I'm like, no, that's great. I mean, but I probably like even Layla, like maybe I'll ask, or Michelle's gonna be there. Maybe both of you guys can just come hang out with me so I don't
Where in Oakland, Anu? Where in Oakland?
New Parish, is that what I told you, Jason?
Okay, I have to get tickets. I gotta get tickets for that one too.
No,
but I'm there.
Well, no, you don't.
Yeah.
If you're helping me as like a therapy animal,
it's okay.
Service animal, you're free.
I want to take you out for a ride while you're here, but it sounds like you're busy all those days. But I want to take you out for some equine
on a
therapy,
motorcycle.
Girl. No, on
a horse.
Girl.
Got
it.
Yeah. Cool. Motorcycles are therapy too. Yeah, they have motorcycle
there
therapy.
You go. There you go. We can ride through the vineyards, but you don't have to drink. That's what we'll do.
Oh my God, that's gonna be hard. I don't even know what that's gonna be like. It's gonna fucking suck, actually. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do.
You'll be fine. You'll be
Kimie
fine.
told me this. She told me it the best because she was pregnant pretty much for 3 years straight. She said you have to set yourself up for success by having non-alcoholic stuff around
Yes.
you. Like
Yes.
Maka bought a 6-pack of non-alcoholic freaking Heineken. So after the show, I'm literally drinking the green bottle with the fuzzy, with the, the bubbles, and it felt like I was right there with everybody. So maybe there's non-alcoholic wine over there.
There's a whole industry of non-alcoholic beers now.
And kombucha is cool too, man. I like the way kombucha makes me feel. And then, hey, maybe I'll microdose a little bit. Hook me up. Jason, go hook me up. Okay, with that, my son is looking at me like, Mom, what are you doing? Okay, we gotta go. I appreciate all of you guys so much. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for everything.
All right,
Thank you,
you
Jason.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Natalie. Thank you to
Bye.
everybody. Aloha. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, and also check out my Patreon page where I have a bunch of different tiers. You can get behind the scenes access to this podcast where you can be a part of the Zoom room and we can get to know each other a little more. Go to anuheajams.com for all of the details on this and everything else. Aloha.